Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Super pumped to have you here. I'm also excited to finally bring you the Element skateboard review that has been requested so many times. So I kind of held off on this review for a little bit because I do have some controversial thoughts about Element skateboards. But before we get into that, let me tell you the exact setup I had this on. So this is an 8.25 Element skateboard. This is the National Geographic Team Deck. Here's the tail. I had this on Flick Laster grip tape, the same grip tape Carlos Laster gave me at the Braille House. And I also got this at Orbit Skate Shop in San Leandro, California. And I had this on Ace 44s with Spitfire 54mm classic wheels and Bones Reds bearings. And honestly, the setup itself felt really good. Element skateboards, I really like the shape to them. They have a pretty decent concave, a little bit more than most brands, and they have a very large nose to them. The tail is a little bit smaller, but it still has pretty good concave. And if you like concave, such as Creature or Santa Cruz, you'll like the shape of this board. And so let me get into some pros and some cons that I noticed while skating this Element board. So the first pro is obviously the shape. I really dig the shape of Element boards. Another pro to this is it did not razor tail at all, to be honest. I mean, it looks like it did, but it's just because this ply right here is the same color. I did not go through two plies, but that could also be because I only skated this for a week, but it kept its pop just fine. So when I would say razor tail, I mean more or less the pop. The pop stayed really, really good. It was really, really snappy throughout the life cycle on the board. And same thing for doing nollie tricks on the nose. The pop was very good. Another pro is the way it's slided. So if you've skated one of these National Geographic boards or you've seen one or felt one, you'll notice that they have this kind of different texture around the graphic. So this whole bird, it has a really weird texture on it that feels really nice, but I was thinking that might stop the sliding. Not at all. This board slid really, really well. No problem sliding whatsoever on this board. And the last is flip tricks, which also relates to the concave. With this board, I was doing all the flip tricks that I would have done on previous boards, so it flipped just fine. Now let me get into some of the cons of this board. And this isn't the board itself, but the grip tape I had on it was not my favorite. Shout out Carlos Laster for giving me this Flick grip tape, but it wasn't my favorite. I'm normally skating Mob, and this feels probably like Jessup grip tape is about how grippy it is. So if you've skated Jessup, think Jessup when it comes to flick, and I would have preferred to have Mob or anything that was a little bit more grippy on this board. The other con that I have with this board was the structural durability of it. As you can see, it snapped, and I only had this for about a week. And this snapped on a flat ground heel flip, which is disappointing, and I know some of it was user error. I did land a little bit too much on the tail, but a lot of boards, especially these days with 7-ply maple, some even are bamboo, they can normally withstand one faulty flip trick where you just land wrong instead of snapping like this. But it happened, and it's definitely something I need to mention, that I did only have this for about a week, and it did snap on a flat ground heel flip. But I do think that if I had not done that, this board would have lasted a lot longer. So, and I could be the board itself. I might have just gotten a bad one. But other than it snapping like that and the grip tape itself, I really do not have too many complaints about Element. So let me talk about pretty much the history of Element and where they're at right now. So they have an amazing team. They've got Nyjah Houston is at the top. They did have Evan Smith, they did have Tyson, both of them pieced out and are doing their own thing. But the other notable name is Bam Margera. He's one of my favorite pro skaters, and I really wanted to try an Element board because he skates strictly Element and has so many pro models for Element. And at this point, I'm kind of disappointed because the board looked super, super cool. And even at the top, I had the grip done so you could see the National Geographic. The aesthetics of Element is really, really nice. And I am going to test another one in the future and see how it skates, and maybe update this review in the future, because I was a little bit bummed out that this snapped like that. And like I said, it could have just been the way I landed was extremely wrong, or the board itself. There could have been something wrong with this particular board, but I've landed too much on the tail with a lot of heel flips before, and boards have not snapped. So that is a huge con and a red flag for me, but I will skate another Element board, but do keep in mind I'm spending my own money for these board reviews and reviewing these products. So when I review something, especially if I'm going to review it the second time, I would, I'd like to have a really good reason to, and it would be pretty bad if another one snapped on me on something stupid like this. But it happens, it's skateboarding, things break, your board was gonna break eventually. So I'm not too bent out of shape about it, but that is a huge red flag that I want to mention. But other than that, Element, the aesthetics, the sliding, the pop, the concave, everything else about this was actually really, really good. And I was noticing that I was popping a little bit higher, and I was skating those same aces on several different boards, and the pop was extremely good on this, but it was only as good as long as it lasted. So maybe it also would have been better if I went with one of the Pro graphics instead of just the Team graphic. Maybe the Pro boards are built a little bit better, but from what I noticed, yeah, they look great, they feel great, but they don't skate for that long and don't last for that long. But other than that, I don't think I have too much to say about Elements. I still respect the brand a lot. I still really like what they have going on. I really support the team. I mean, I'm not the biggest Nigel Houston fan, but if I'm gonna be real, he's one of the best skaters out there. And he's skating Element, and in one of his Sun Saturday videos, he was skating this exact team deck. So that's super cool to see. But anyways, I have nothing really else to say about Elements besides in the future I'll probably get another one and update this review maybe. So let me know if you want to see that. If you have any questions about this board or you want to see other reviews in the future on certain brands, leave them down in the comments below. I'll be happy to get into some other reviews. I really enjoy doing these reviews for you guys, and happy that Element is out of the way. But we do have some future plans for some others already. So if you want to see something, doesn't have to be just boards. It can be wheels, trucks, anything you want to hear about. Or if you have any questions for me, I also have a series where I just do Ask Holiday and I go over some questions that you guys have for me. So leave that down in the comments below. And if you want to contact me on Instagram, it's where I respond the fastest. My Instagram is iholiday_IG. I'll also have the link down below in the description. So if you have any questions or need any skate tips or anything like that, feel free to message me and I'll happily respond to you. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching this review. I had a lot of fun making it. I love these reviews. It was super cool. But I'll see you guys in the next one. Have an absolutely awesome day and stay safe.